Today on this January the 13th, we are celebrating Z-Day in honor of Canadian hero Tanner Zipkin, the former Cineplex pre-show host. If you've been watching my channel for a while now or have just started watching a couple of my videos, you'd probably be able to figure out pretty quickly that I am a huge movie buff. I'm an aspiring filmmaker and I love nothing more than going to the movies. If you live in Canada, there's a good chance you're going to a Cineplex theater, maybe a Landmark depending on where you live. And I have 3 Cineplex theaters in my hometown as well as a few others. I even used to work at one. I love going out to the theaters. It's my preferred method of watching movies. And I love the whole experience. I love the popcorn. I mean, everything's really expensive, but when you love something, you make it work. I even enjoyed the Cineplex pre-show when they still had Tanner Z. I'm very ritualistic when it comes to going to the movies. I have a couple of spots that I consider my spots where I like to sit. Now, of course, I'm not the type of guy that'd be like, you're sitting in my spot, get the fuck out of here. But that's why I have a couple space spots that I like to sit in. I always have to get my layered buttered popcorn with flavor boosters, aka peanut M&Ms. I'm usually a XXX vitamin water guy, or if they're selling an Ultra Cup, which I have several of, I like to get the Ultra Cup and then I'll get a Coke or a Sprite. But yeah, so going to the movies, I have a lot of ritual that goes into it. I keep all my tickets, I log every movie I see in theaters, the works. I'm a fucking nerd. And a big part of the movie going experience, especially when I go with my friends, 3 of my closest friends in particular, is that we get really involved and we don't talk during the movie, God no, I'm not a monster. But during the pre-show, we get right into it. Remember when I lived in Vancouver for a spell, we had Time Play and that was a lot of fun. There's always a hint of irony to this level of engagement, but when you're ironically loving something for so long, you do eventually just grow to love it. And that's what happened to us. We would start getting really into the ads and having a favorite ad in particular, like the 4x4 Ever ad by Jeep. Became a favorite of ours, and we have given it the crown of being the greatest advertisement in Cineplex history. I just have nothing but positives to sing about that ad. 4x4 Ever. And you know, there was that one Tangerine ad that was pretty good. I'm not gonna bother trying to find it because it's nowhere near as good as the 4x4 Ever ad, but you know. Mark Saltzman and his tech guide, that's a must, can't miss that. It's that one fucking guy who does the video games, fuck him. And I mean Colonel, da boy. I love, whoops. And I mean, how can you not look at him? He's a full-bird colonel. But this video is about one man in particular. The man who set it all in motion, really, and turned around the Cineplex pre-show for us. Because we used to be haters. We used to just hate on it. We'd be the fucking ads, fucking pre-show, I want to watch the fucking movie. And then Tanner Z came along and added undeniable charm to the Cineplex pre-show. As like all things in the pre-show that we loved, our love for Tanner Z started out ironic. You're just like, oh great, here he is. Let's make fun of him. But as time went on, we grew to realize that this guy was giving an unnecessary amount of effort into his job. Like, he could have just completely phoned it in and orchestrated the interviews, but it seemed like the guy did put some effort in. And we appreciated that, and we grew to just genuinely enjoy this guy coming on, and I grew to be a fan, you could say. And Tanner Z made the pre-show. This man is a bona fide god on the Mount Rushmore of Canada, just hands down. Look at that smile. How can you not love that smile? So what happened? Cineplex got bought out by Cineworld, and then Tanner Z got sacked. I'm not saying those things are related. I'm just saying that they were close in proximity to each other. So they let him go. And that was heartbreaking enough as it was. I got behind the hashtag Justice for Tanner Z movement, which I don't think really took off with that particular hashtag, but whatever. And if you knew me, there was no way you were getting through your day without hearing about how mad I was about Tanner Z getting fired. And then more news came out. Turns out, the man was getting paid in scene points, not even in cash. This man is a saint. He pre-showed for our sins. This dude was straight up doing it for the love of the game. He had no ulterior motives. He wasn't making any money. He was being paid scene points. In fucking scene points. He worked at Cineplex. He should have been getting that shit for free anyways. But he did it for the love of the game. I pour one out to you, Tanner Z, for pre-showing for no other reason other than for the fact that it meant something to you. And that it meant something to us. In a weird way, Tanner Z is kind of like the modern, like, not a horror host, but like a modern movie host that kind of unified all of Canada in a weird way. And allow me to explain. You have horror hosts like Svengoolie, Elvira, Joe Bob Briggs, who would like present horror films for TV. And there's other hosts for other shows and all that. You don't really have that in this day and age because all those types of personalities just upload to YouTube or do something like that, you know? You don't really have somebody setting you up for your movie that a lot of people in your area could relate to. Tanner Z was the closest thing in the present day that we had to somebody who was presenting films to people nationwide, and I think that that's something that's commendable. You know, Tanner Z is a face that if you were going to movie theaters and your town had a Cineplex, we were all watching the same pre-show, we were all hearing the same stuff, we were all kind of together in the Tanner Z pre-show experience. And it's not that he would come out and say, you're about to watch Spider-Man Homecoming. You know, no, he would come out and he would interview people for relevant movies that were coming up, and it was, for large in part, just an ad. They were all advertising for stuff that was coming out. But like I said earlier, Tanner brought a level of effort into it that he really didn't need to, and he made it more enjoyable. Nobody remembers the pre-show hosts from before Tanner, and that's because they didn't put in the work that Tanner Z put in. So yeah, nothing but praise to that guy. He seems to be doing all right. He was in the newest season of The Boys. He's very active on Twitter. I've tweeted at him a couple of times, probably send this video to him. But yeah, this is just me singing the praise. Tanner Z, pouring out for the homie the next time you get a chance to. I think that Landmark needs to snatch him up ASAP because...
This is one of the biggest species of tarantulas in the world. Do you want to hold her now?
Why not?